It started with laughter, the kind that fills a gymnasium after school. Plastic spiders, rubber masks, and fold-out tables topped with cold pizza and orange punch. The week of Halloween had always been a favorite of mine. That year, I was in 8th grade, and our school was hosting its first ever Halloween carnival. We were decorating the haunted house together, stringing fake cobwebs, adjusting blinking lights, and trying to scare each other with cheap jump scares that mostly ended in giggles. That's when I met Ethan. He wasn't someone I'd ever really noticed before. Quiet, not shy exactly, more like someone who didn't need to be loud to take up space. He had that dry, sarcastic humor that makes people laugh when they least expect it. I remembered thinking he was funny, maybe even sweet. We all added each other on Messenger that night, swapping memes and inside jokes from the haunted house setup. Nothing felt strange. But monsters don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they look like someone offering you the last slice of pepperoni. 2 weeks later, right after the carnival had come and gone, I was surrounded at lunch by a group of girls, all smiling, like they knew something I didn't. "Lena, you have a secret admirer," one of them squealed. "Oh my God, it's so obvious who it is," another chimed in. "He's obsessed with you." I laughed, brushing it off. I didn't think much of it, just middle school drama. That night, though, as I curled into bed, my phone buzzed. New message. From Ethan. I blinked. Had I even added him? I must have. His profile picture was from Halloween night. Him in a skeleton hoodie, grinning like he didn't have a care in the world. His message was long, messy, obsessive. "Lena, I need to tell you something. You've been driving me crazy since Halloween. I tried everything. The jokes, the haunted house, the way I waited for you to laugh. You didn't even notice. But I can't stop thinking about you. Say you're mine. That's all I need." My stomach twisted. I barely knew him. We'd talked, sure. But this? I typed back carefully, rereading every word a dozen times. "Ethan, I don't feel the same. I hope you understand." I thought that would be the end of it. But Ethan didn't understand. He didn't want to. What followed were questions, then begging, then accusations. Why not? What's wrong with me? You just don't see me. At school the next day, people started whispering. Someone told me Ethan had been bragging, saying he was going to kiss me at lunch, in the hallway, in front of everyone. That I was just playing hard to get. I wanted to disappear. And then came the first real scare. One evening, I found a note folded neatly on our front porch, sealed with tape. No envelope, just my name in a messy pen. "Check under the Cadillac. There's a surprise." My brother's car stopped working a few days later. He thought it was a bad alternator. He was wrong. Something had been jammed into the engine, something sharp. The mechanic said it looked deliberate. Around the same time, Ethan's friends started showing up near my locker. Not talking, just standing too close, watching. And then there were the messages. "You were so beautiful walking home today. I love your hair down. You should wear it like that more. You'll be even more beautiful tomorrow. I know it." I began taking a different route home. I stopped wearing my hair down. I deleted Messenger, but it didn't stop him. I remember going to the school counselor, desperate for someone to take me seriously. She smiled like she pitied me. "It's just how boys are at that age," she said. "Most girls would be lucky to get this kind of attention." Her voice was calm, like nothing was wrong, like being followed, threatened, and watched was just part of growing up. When I told my mom, she was livid, furious. She stormed into the school and demanded action. but the principal too had that same bland expression. Ethan stayed. Nothing changed until that night. I remember every second of it. I was alone in my room. The house was quiet. I'd just put on my pajamas and turned off the lamp when I heard it. Tap. Then again. Tap. Tap. I froze. It was coming from the window. My second-story window. I pulled back the curtain slowly, and there he was. Ethan, standing in the yard, staring up. His face bathed in moonlight, tilted toward my window. He was throwing rocks, soft and deliberate, like in some twisted rom-com. His lips were moving, forming the same words over and over. I couldn't hear him. I didn't want to. I stepped back, heart racing. My phone buzzed. Why are you hiding from me? Just one kiss. That's all I've ever wanted. You're not the angel I imagined. I was wrong about you. I blocked him. He didn't come back to my window after that. Not physically, at least. But I saw him almost every day in the halls, watching, smiling like nothing had ever happened. Sometimes I wondered if I'd imagined it all, if I was the one losing my grip. I wasn't. Ethan stayed at that school until graduation. No one ever stopped him. Not the teachers, not the staff, not the so-called adults who were supposed to keep us safe. Years later, I got a text from an old classmate. Did you hear? Ethan got arrested. For what, they didn't say. But I didn't need details. I already knew. I don't think about him often. But when I do, it's not the stalking that haunts me, not the threats, not the messages or the rocks against my window. It's the silence, the way no one believed me, the way they told me to smile through it, to learn from it. And I did. I learned that sometimes evil doesn't wear a mask. Sometimes it wears a smile and waits outside your window. I've never been good with people. Some folks are born with that easy charisma, the kind that lights up rooms and makes strangers lean in. Not me. I was the quiet kid, the one who sat alone at lunch and never got picked for group projects. Teachers wrote notes home about my disengagement, and my parents enrolled me in all kinds of social skills groups. But none of it stuck. Not really. I'm not telling you this for pity, just context. By the time I was 24, I'd figured out how to build a life that worked for me. I had a great job in data analytics, solitary, logical, neat. I bought myself a sleek little townhouse on the edge of the city, modern kitchen, smart lighting, clean lines, a place built for silence. I even started trying to date. I thought maybe loneliness was just a bad habit, something I could outgrow. That's when I met Rachel. She wasn't the kind of person you slowly fell for. She was the kind you crashed into. Gorgeous, for one. Thick dark hair, this knowing smile, eyes like she already knew your secrets. But more than that, she noticed me, really noticed me. We matched on an app. She messaged first. We went from strangers to soulmates in days. At least, that's what it felt like. She was magnetic, intense, and affectionate to the point of obsession. And after years of feeling invisible, her constant attention felt like sunlight. Looking back, it was more like wildfire. We texted constantly. She'd call if I didn't reply within 10 minutes. At first, I thought it was cute, flattering even. But the more she demanded, the more I gave. The first real crack was when she showed up at my friend Jason's house. We were in the basement, me, Jason, and Dylan, just playing video games like old times. Out of nowhere, Rachel burst through the door, red-faced, shouting my name. She accused me of ignoring her, of hiding her, in front of everyone. I don't even remember what I said. I was too humiliated to think. That night, I texted her and said I needed space. I couldn't bring myself to say it in person. Honestly, I was scared of how she'd react. Turns out, I wasn't scared enough. The calls started right away. Then the texts, dozens of them, angry, then pleading. "How could you do this?" followed by, "I miss you so much." She pounded on my door at midnight, screaming my name. My neighbor, an older guy named Mike, came out and threatened to call the cops if she didn't leave. Eventually, she did. I blocked her on everything, stopped sharing my location, changed my locks, even though she never had a key. I thought it was over. A week passed. The quiet returned. That Friday night, I was at Jason's again. We ordered wings and watched horror movies, something we hadn't done in a while. I felt like myself again, even if it was brief. I got home late, tired, hungry. I tossed some leftover noodles into the microwave, kicked off my shoes, and collapsed onto the couch. I remember scrolling through Netflix, trying to decide what kind of horror movie I was in the mood for. Ghosts or serial killers. The microwave beeped, and that's when I heard it. Click. From the dining room. The thing about my townhouse is, it loops. The kitchen opens into the dining room, which flows into the living room, then wraps around into the den. The den is the only room with a door, and that's where the sound had come from. I muted the TV. The silence settled in like dust. Then I heard it again. A soft creak. The den door. Slowly opening. Now, I never leave that door shut. Or open. I never use that room. It's mostly storage. Boxed up cables, old books, tech I don't need but can't throw away. But tonight, the door was wide open. I stood up. My heart was already racing, and I didn't know why yet. "Hello?" I said, barely louder than a whisper. Nothing. I crept to the kitchen, grabbed a knife from the block. My hands were shaking. I dialed 911 and spoke loud, hoping whoever might be inside would hear me. "I think my ex-girlfriend broke in," I said. "I think she's still in the house." The police came fast. We searched every inch, every closet, the attic, the crawl space under the stairs. Nothing. No signs of forced entry. No Rachel. They left. I locked myself in my bedroom, double-checked the windows, and tried to convince myself I was being paranoid. But around 3:20 a.m., I woke up. Not from a sound, just an off feeling, like I wasn't alone. My phone lit up. Messages, a new number. But I knew who it was. "Rachel, I miss you. Are you awake? Please wake up. I'm so sorry. Don't ignore me. Don't make me wait. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up." I stared at the screen, heart pounding. I typed one message back. "This is crazy. You're scaring me. Please leave me alone." I hit send, and then, from the closet beside my bed, I heard a scream. No. The door burst open. Rachel exploded out of it like something from a nightmare, eyes wide, knife raised. I dove off the bed. Her blade sliced the air where I'd just been. I scrambled to my feet, heart beating so loud it drowned out everything else, and slammed the bedroom door shut behind me. Then, stab. The knife punched through the wood. Splinters flew. I staggered back. And I did the only thing I could think of. "Rachel, baby, I love you. Please stop." Silence. She froze. I leaned into it, lied through my teeth, told her I was confused, that I missed her, that we could fix things, that I never wanted to hurt her. Her voice cracked from the other side of the door. That's all I wanted to hear. I told her to drop the knife. She did. I heard it hit the floor. I counted to 3, threw the door open, and tackled her. We hit the ground hard. She kicked, screamed, thrashed like a trapped animal. But I held on, screamed into the phone still clutched in my hand. "I've got her. She's here." And then, like a thunderclap, boots on stairs, shouting. Cops are bursting in. They pulled me off her, cuffed her as she sobbed and babbled nonsense. They took her away. I didn't move, just lay there, shaking, staring at the jagged hole in my bedroom door. Rachel's in prison now, pleaded guilty to multiple charges. I didn't go to the trial. I couldn't. Instead, I stayed in that townhouse for a while. But no matter how many locks I changed, how many times I checked the cameras, I never felt safe again. Sometimes I still wake up at 3:20 a.m., phone in hand, staring at the closet door, the one with the scar from her blade, and I wonder how long she was in there. Minutes, hours, and what would have happened if I hadn't woken up? I was 24 when I matched with Vincent. He was clean-cut, confident, a little older than me, which I liked. We met on a dating app one evening when I couldn't sleep, the kind of swiping haze that turns into conversation before you know it. His profile was neat. 2 photos, a quote about living with intention, and one of those vague tech job titles that sound like everything and nothing at once. At first, everything seemed normal. Our first date was coffee on a rainy Sunday. Easy. I remember laughing more than I expected to. The second was drinks at a quiet rooftop bar, where he asked a lot of questions, almost too many, but I chalked it up to interest. The third was dinner. He was dressed sharp, charming as ever, but something had shifted. He made a passing comment about how I should wear my hair up more often. Then another, when I mentioned my friends. I bet they don't appreciate you like I do. It wasn't overtly creepy, just off. Still, I ignored it. I'd gone too long without letting anyone in, and I figured maybe I was just rusty, overthinking things. The fourth date shattered that illusion. He picked me up for drinks at a bar downtown, already a little buzzed when I got in his car. I could smell the gin before he spoke. Over the next hour, he got handsy, pressuring, his voice low and persistent in my ear. Come back with me. Just for a bit. You'll regret it if you don't. I told him no, firm but polite, smiled when I said it, the way we're taught to. He didn't take it well. Even after I got in my car and pulled away, I saw his headlights behind me. A few turns later, they were still there. I knew the route to my place by muscle memory, but that night, I turned left instead of right. He followed. Another right, still behind me. I circled 2 blocks before I was sure. Vincent was following me. I pulled over, heart pounding, and texted him, "Are you following me?" His reply came quick. "Relax. I just wanted to make sure you got home safe." I told him to stop. He did. Or at least his car disappeared. But something about that night stuck to me like smoke. Later, he texted like nothing had happened. The next morning, he messaged again. Then a follow-up. Then a question mark. That was when I ended it. Formally, clearly. I think we're just different people. I wish you the best, but this isn't working for me. What came next felt like flipping a switch. Accusations, rage. So you strung me along? Unbelievable. Pay me back for every single date then. You're a manipulative little girl. I blocked him, but that didn't stop him. No caller ID calls started rolling in, one after another. I silenced my phone, but it didn't matter. The buzzing continued through the night. Then, silence, until the knock at the door. It was morning. I opened the front door and stared down at a bouquet of white lilies and an apology card taped to the stems. There was no return address, no name, but I knew who sent it. Vincent had found my house. I lived with my parents at the time. It was a big 2-story place tucked into a quiet cul-de-sac, and they were away that week visiting family. I was alone. I sent one final message from a new number. Do not come near me again. I have your messages. I'll go to the police." Then I blocked him permanently. I thought that was it. But I was wrong. It happened 2 nights later. I went to bed early, trying to shake off the sense of being watched that had clung to me all day. I double-checked the locks, pulled the blinds, even shoved a chair under the back door handle, just in case. Somewhere in the middle of the night, I woke up. I didn't know why. There was no loud sound, no lights, just a feeling, like something had shifted. I lay still, eyes adjusting to the dark. Then I heard it, a creak. Not from inside my room, but close. A door, maybe. Then the faintest pressure on the floorboards, footsteps. I held my breath. The hallway light was off. My door was cracked just slightly, the way I always left it in case I needed to hear my parents at night. But they weren't home. It was just me. I grabbed my phone and slid silently onto the floor, crawling toward the edge of the bed. The footsteps stopped. Then, drawer sounds. Someone opening the side table next to my bed. I dropped flat to the floor and slid under the bed, pressing myself against the cold hardwood. My pulse thundered in my ears, and then I heard his voice, muttering, cursing. Vincent. I saw his shoes first, leather soles, too clean. He stood there, muttering to himself, opening drawers, stepping around like he owned the place. And then he sat down, right above me. The mattress dipped as his weight settled onto it. I froze, breath shallow, heart trying to claw its way out of my chest. I could see his feet, could hear the tiny creak of the mattress springs as he leaned forward. Then, another sound. Click. It was so soft I almost missed it, but I recognized it later. It was the sound of the small camera my dad had installed on the bookshelf, its lens being covered. He knew. Either he saw it or already knew it was there. I think that's when I realized. This wasn't a moment of passion or desperation. This was something planned, something intentional. I stayed frozen as long as I could. Minutes passed. He didn't move, didn't speak, just sat there in silence. Then finally, his voice, low and furious. Fucking bitch. He stood, walked to the door, and left. Only when I heard the back door close, followed by silence, did I reach for my phone and whisper, 911, please, someone broke into my house. The police came fast. They searched the house, but he was already gone. One of the windows had been jimmied open, one that led into the downstairs guest room, big enough to crawl through. He hadn't broken anything, hadn't left fingerprints, just came inside, walked up the stairs, and sat on my bed. I showed the officers the blocked messages, the flowers, the card, the texts, even the one where he admitted to following me. They filed a report, took notes, but with no camera footage, no clear evidence of him inside the house, the case stalled. I filed a restraining order anyway. He never contacted me again. But the damage was done. For months, I slept with a knife under my pillow. I triple-locked the doors, jumped every time the phone rang. I stopped using dating apps, stopped going out at night. Eventually, I moved. Different house, different town. I tried to leave that part of my life behind, but some nights when it's quiet, I still lie awake and stare at the door, listening. Because the scariest part isn't the night he broke in. It's realizing he never really left.